We've been joined by Major General GD Bakshi to talk about the book he has authored, Beyond Fear, about the experience that he had on the war field. Sir, it's a pleasure to have you with us. Particularly if I start the topic about Beyond Fear, what are the insights that the viewer should know about this particular book, sir?
This is a book about two parallel life paths. You see, this is the book, Beyond Fear, a personal journey to Soma, right? Soma is mentioned, the whole ninth mandala of the Rig Veda is devoted to Soma, and Soma was supposed to be a psychotropic plant. There are many understandings of the concept of Soma. So one, it was supposed to be a psychotropic plant that gave you ecstasy, etc., etc. But the second version is, and that what Guruji, what Gurudev says is that Soma was not external. When you meditate, your brain starts secreting endorphins, neurotransmitters, endorphins. These endorphins give you joy, happiness, bliss, ecstasy, and they take away fear and pain on the battlefield. So, Soma was a concept that was needed not just by the Vedic sages, it was also needed by the Vedic soldiers and warriors who had to face death and battle, death and wounds on the battlefield. So, in my life, like I said, I have fought in many battles. I started my service as a second lieutenant. I took part in the Bangladesh war, you know, and then we had, after that, I led counter terrorist operations in the Punjab. Then I fought in Kargil. I led my battalion in Kargil. Then I fought for 3 years almost in Kishtwar, counter-terrorist operations. And finally, when I became a major general, I again fought in Rajouri and Punch, which were the worst terrorism-affected districts in that particular time era. I have faced death so many times. And facing death itself is a yoga. Because the Gita tells you, na hanyate hanyamane sharire. It does not die with the death of the body. Nainam chandanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavaka. You know, the swords cannot cut the Atman. The fire cannot burn it. The water cannot drown it. The wind cannot carry it away. And yet, we have to stand up and face death on the battlefield. I have seen the intestines of soldiers coming out on the battlefield. I have seen soldiers, I have held their heads in my lap, cradled their heads in my lap, and given them the last sip of water even as they were dying. So, death and dying I have seen in plenty, because that itself is the yoga of dying, of death and dying, facing up to death and dying. And then, of course, I, was from the very beginning spiritually inclined. I have put in this book my spiritual experiences, because Hinduism does not believe in theory. It is a religion that believes in experiential spirituality. Experiential spirituality, and that means it believes in, anubhav, anubhuti, experience, personal experience. The Buddha said, "O monks, do not believe because I have said so. Do not believe because it is written in the books. Experience for yourself and then you believe." So you have to have anubhav, anubhuti, darshan, stuti, direct audition. Only then are you in touch with God. You see, so they believe in direct first person experience of your spiritual experiences. So there are three types of experiences: first person, second person, first person, I experienced it. This is what that is supposed to be the final test, touchstone of reality or Brahman, whatever. I have experienced Brahman. I am Atma Brahman. I am Brahmasmi. Tattvam Asi. These are the Vedic Mahavakyas. So they all talk of first person experience. Second person experience is the experiences of my guru, experiences of what Shri Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. I've read it, so that is second person experience. And then today we in consciousness studies we have graduated to the field of third person studies, scientific studies. And you see, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi was one of the first sages in India to subject meditating, subjects to scientific experiments. Very, very methodical, objective, scientific experiments to get to the truth. So actually, you need a combination of all three approaches: first person, second person, third person, to comprehend reality, to bring it down. So you may experience it for yourself. So I had lots of spiritual experiences, but I couldn't, to make head or tail out. Then I had to read a lot in the Gita. I had to read the Vedas firsthand, and then I had to go on and read about the scientific experiments. For example, as I was telling you, that when you meditate, the brain secretes certain chemicals which are called endorphins. Endorphins means endogenous morphine, the morphine of the brain. That is what gives you a bliss, euphoria, high. And what do you need morphine for on the battlefield? To take away pain, fear of death. You see? So my book is about that Soma. The Soma that was required by the sage, the Soma that was required by the soldier, Brahma Kshatras. You know, those were those Brahmins who left the Shastras, then they took up the Shastras and they fought. The samurai, all Buddhist martial art traditions. In Buddhism, the monks practice martial arts. So there is this synthesis of the soldier and the saint, and that in the Indian tradition is extremely strong. That is what this book is all about. Thank you.